rounds. I want clean fight, okay? Touch glove, good luck. All right.
The moment has arrived. The world is watching. Jake Paul, Tommy Fury, both men undefeated. Daraiya, Saudi Arabia. The talk is over. Finally, they collide. We are underway. Ray Flores, Showtime, Sean Porter, Coach Larry Wade.
My apologies. I think we just got the game plan from J. Leon Love, the coach of Jake Paul. He said, hey, you don't take no steps back. You don't back up. Obviously, right there being rushed, he did smart, you know, to take steps back right there. But we'll see what happens. Tommy, on the other hand, he started as I expected him to, a little fast, coming right after Jake. This is what I expected from Tommy.
Tommy Fury, led by his father, John Fury. Also his older brother in attendance, Tyson Fury. Jake Paul, his brother, Logan Paul. Social media superstar and WWE superstar also in attendance, supporting his younger brother, Jake Paul. Time being called by referee in charge, Hector Afu.
Well, the ref's going to warn them about wrestling, but I'll tell you what Jake is doing. Jake is trying to settle down Tommy. So if I grab you a couple of times, all that high energy that you came to the ring with, you don't have a chance to use it, you settle down.
Both men have predicted knockout wins under 4 rounds. There's an overhand right. That overhand right has put away the likes of Tyron Woodley, also put Anderson Silva on the canvas in Jake Paul's recent victory back in October in Arizona.
Tommy has doubled and tripled up on the jab, and then finally Jake came over the top with overhand right. If you're Tommy, keep jabbing. Don't stop jabbing because you see a weapon coming after you. You stabilize that weapon by continuing to use your jab.
The corner of Tommy Fury telling him to circle to his right. Again, this is an 18-foot ring. It's what Tommy Fury wanted. This is a small ring. Jake Paul said no problem, meaning it's not hard to find the other man. Overhand right over the top, connecting for Paul.
I guess this is going to be a night of overhand rights because we got a lot of that from Badu Jack, and we see Jake Paul. We know him for being really heavy-handed with that right hand, and he's starting to release it with authority.
Jake Paul has that right hand. He's ready to unload it. Tommy Fury said, I'm a way better boxer. There's no way this guy can beat me. Tommy Fury has proclaimed the public has only seen 10% of what I'm capable of inside the ring.
If you look at this fight right now, you have to ask yourself, who is quote-unquote the YouTuber and who is quote-unquote the boxer? Because if you look at it, Jake Paul is showing that he is definitely a seasoned boxer. He just has to stay consistent in what he's doing and put pressure on him in the same way.
BJ Flores, J. Leon Love in the corner of Jake Paul. There's a left hook for Jake Paul. Final moments of the first round. Jake Paul using his jab as we near a right hand to the body by Paul. Back comes Tommy Fury, left hook. Fury opening up towards the end of the first round. The action heating up here in Saudi Arabia.
Right, you're warming in now. 2 phases attacks when you let him go, he's got nothing. You feel good? He's took the best punch off him. It's nothing. What you do is slow your job down, let's work to the sides. And what you need to do, his hands high, step in with a power, step in with a jab. Step in with a jab, it's fine. When you're in fight,
nice finish right here. This is how you close a round. Tommy Fury heard the clap. He ran right after Jake Paul. If anything, you still the round there. One big punch landed in that round from Jake Paul was overhand right, but then here's the finish right here. This is what you do. You give the judges the last impression. Now they remember what you did. They remember you backing Tommy up. Excuse me, you backing Jake up. They remember you landing shots. They remember you wanting to win that round.
Well, during that sequence, Tommy Fury landed a left hook and then continued to pursue Jake Paul, and then he landed a right hook right on the jaw of Paul. Round number 2 begins between Jake Paul and Tommy Fury. Of Fury's, all of his knockouts have come in 2 rounds or under.
Tommy received an overhand right in that first round, and he ate it really well. What he can't afford to do is keep that jab hand down after releasing it, because we know the punch right there. We know that an overhand right is coming from Jake Paul, especially in a moment like that right there.
Tommy Fury said while Jake Paul was on the Disney Channel, he was in camp learning as an amateur, getting his lumps in, sparring with heavyweights that his brother Tyson Fury was sparring with in preparation for his professional fights. Jumping right hand by Tommy Fury.
Good work right there from Tommy Fury. And just a great counter jab right there from Jake Paul. But listen to me right now. Tommy's doing a really good job of controlling this 8-foot ring. What he can't afford to do is continue to move to the left into the direction of an overhand right.
Jake Paul very relaxed indeed. He eats a stiff jab from Tommy Fury. Jake Paul actually told Tommy Fury, bet your purse. If you beat me, I will double your purse. If you lose to me, you get nothing. Still no word if that's official or not. There's a right hand down the center by Tommy Fury, glancing shot.
And I want to say this again, just so that it's clear, during this fight, just because a fighter is moving does not mean that that fighter is afraid to fight, and it doesn't mean that that fighter is running. What Tommy is doing is he's staying out of the reach of Jake Paul, and he's setting up his jab, and he's working off of that. That's what he's supposed to do in this fight, outbox the YouTuber.
There's a left hook blocked by Jake Paul, under a minute to go in the second round. Jake Paul has sparred the likes of Andrew Tabiti overhand right, also Jean Pascal has been in and sparring all over the United States. Overhand right by Paul, now they tie up. Hector Afu will separate them.
That overhand right is starting to find a home. Jake needed some kind of rhythm to get started, and now he's setting it up with jab, feints, and overhand right. That'll get him back into this fight.
Both men seem to be relaxed. A stiff jab by Tommy Fury.
We call it fast chess. What does that mean? Tommy, you got hit with 2 overhand rights in a row. Calculate what happened and don't let it happen again.
We are nearing the end. Overhand right, that was blocked as Fury responds with the right of his own. A left hook, a glancing shot for Jake Paul. 2 rounds in the books.
2 close rounds in the books.
Time in there, baby. Good. Good win. We got that.
I got it.
Good.
You can't get those 3 jabs.
Okay.
Left hand or keep both hands up. Keep that left hand up on the right hand, and you're not gonna pick that jab. You're leaning over a little bit. That's why he's touching you, and you still letting him circle.
Give me some. Okay.
You gotta cut the ring off by stepping to the right and moving down the middle.
Right here, the nice jab right there, Tommy Fury. His jab is gonna land first because he's longer. It's up to him to use that jab and not allow Jake Paul to get confident like that right there, and stay in there, eat the jab so that I can deliver overhand right. That jab has got to come fast, it's got to come strong, and right here, Tommy has to be elusive after throwing the jab, that way he doesn't get hit with an overhand right.
That right hand that Jake Paul landed on has put away the likes of Ben Askren, Tyron Woodley, put Anderson Silva on the canvas in the final round, but Tommy Fury ate it well, and the question was, which man will be able to withstand the other's power, and which man will be able to inflict punishment on the other? So far, Tommy Fury has been able to eat the overhand right of Jake Paul, but now Jake Paul with the stiff jab to back up Tommy Fury momentarily.
Absolutely. So when we talk about those overhand rights that have put other fighters out, those other fighters were older. Those other fighters were a little over the hill and had some mileage. Tommy ain't got none of that. So you got a young, fresh body in front of you. It's going to take more than 1 overhand right to get Tommy out of here. Now here's the thing. Sorry, but here's the thing. Tommy switched his game plan up. Why are you standing in front of Jake? Continue to move and do what was working for you in the first and second round.
Stiff jab from the problem child. Now Now it is Jake Paul who is focusing more on the boxing instead of looking for that home run shot, that overhand right.
Yeah, that's a heck of a jab that Jake is throwing. He's got the right hand in front of his face so that he doesn't get hit. He's dipping down a little low, and he's bringing the jab hand up, and it's landing clean.
And let's also remember that Jake Paul and his brother Logan Paul were stand-up wrestlers in high school in the state of Ohio, which is not easy to do and compete at a high level in the state of Ohio from a wrestling standpoint.
Guess what? You'll say, oh, that was wrestling. This is boxing. Guess what? He's an athlete. Guess what? He's a competitor. He's a real boxer. We got 2 real boxers in the ring today. Just one came from YouTube, and that's all. One came from TV.
It's the way social media is. Both men certainly polarizing figures in their own rights.
It looks like now Tommy Fury is trying to slow down a little bit, but he hit him definitely with a serious jab.
Coming up on a minute to go in this third round.
Yeah, the first 2 rounds, Tommy was punch and move. Now he's punching and he's standing still, and that's a problem. Nice hook right there from Jake Paul.
Of Tommy Fury's 8 opponents, 2 of them have had winning records. So Jake Paul said, you want to look at my record, who I fought? Well, who have you fought? Only 2 of your opponents have had winning records.
Yeah. I don't think the record really means much. What matters is what you do against those guys.
Styles make fights, an overhand right on the temple, connecting for Jake Paul. Time being called by Hector Abu.
Yeah, Jake right there, he just tried to use his head on Tommy, just kind of rubbed his head over Tommy's head. It's a veteran move right there.
But when you work with the likes of BJ Flores, also Jay Leon Love, and the entire team that Jake Paul has with him, you pick up a few things or two.
Absolutely. Jake Paul's corner has all of the experience that he lacks. And that's why we've seen Jake get as good as he's gotten to this point. We've seen him improve. It's because of his corner. Really good, strong round right there for Jake Paul.
Logan Paul, this is a stage that you've been on before in Saudi Arabia. You're the first Paul to make a huge splash here. What was the last thing that you said to Jake before he came out tonight?
I said, Jake, I love you. I'm not going to give you a big speech. I know you got this, but either come back victorious or come back on your shield. I love you, bro.
I love you too, man. How do you feel like he's doing so far in the fight?
He's doing great. I think the first 2 rounds were close. He definitely got that last round. Tommy, if you can hear me, you a bitch, bro, and you gassing out. You a bitch. The whole Fury family a bitch. This fight ain't over, boy.
Hey, water. I need you to feint at him and step up, creep up, all right? Slip.
Hey, I need you to move your fucking head all the time. Really, okay?
Pick and shoot.
Tommy Fury clearly wore more leather in that round. He's got to pick it back up and get back on his toes and use the jab from the outside.
Round 4, this one's scheduled for 8. Logan Paul with some strong words for the Fury family.
I looked over at them. It didn't seem to shake them. No one seemed to acknowledge what Logan Paul said. Good exchange right there from Tommy.
The combination by Fury.
You got to be able to read your opponent. You can if you know what you're looking at, you can see the punches coming from Jake. You can tell when it's going to be a jab or a lead hook or an overhand right.
So you're saying Jake is telegraphing his shots?
Absolutely. Honestly, from what I can see and what I'm reading, I know when the overhand is coming, I know when the hook is coming, and I know when the jab is coming. Except for Tommy did not set his feet. A lot like what Baidu did last fight. Tommy, don't set your feet. Keep moving and don't allow Jake to get close to you.
As Jake Paul went forward, he ate a couple of right hands. Tommy Fury with 4 right hands over the course of the second period. Both men predicted finishes before the end of the 4th round. We are now at the midway point of the 4th.
This is good boxing, and I see experience right here from Tommy. This is probably a Tommy Fury that nobody expected right now. What about you, Wade?
You know what, as I'm looking at him, the number one thing I'm looking at, he's waiting for him so he can catch him with the counter. And so you expect that out of someone who's a more polished boxer. So he's definitely showing us something different.
A minute to go in this fourth round. Tommy Fury looks to be very relaxed inside the ring against Jake Paul. Paul's athleticism has yet to really frustrate Fury over that time period.
I think it's the opposite. I think that I really wouldn't say Jake is frustrated. It's a good combination right there from Jake. Tommy's comfortable in there right now. Tommy's comfortable in there right now. He's in his rhythm. He knows what he's looking at. He's trying to time Jake, and he turned the tables. Again, the movement is what's giving Jake trouble. Don't stand in front of Jake and allow him to punch. Keep moving. It's okay.
Final moments of the fourth round between Jake Paul and Tommy Fury. There's a right hand that hit the back of the head. Hector Afu gonna call time.
When you push him back, you've got nothing. Okay? Remember, what you do now, you've got him. Push him back now.
See right here, this is a nice 1-2 right down the middle. That's that's good boxing. That's experience. And he saw that Jake Paul was moving back, and so Tommy did what he was supposed to do. He kept pursuing. Right here's the firefight, a little back and forth. Another close round, a round that I felt Tommy had the better end of. Nice hook right there from Jake Paul. Nice clean hook right there, and look at how he set it up. He went to the body, and he came back up to the top.
Throw your hard shot. All right?
Taking a look at punches, Tommy Fury has landed 44, thrown 157. Jake has thrown nearly less than half of that, 82, only landed 27. So Tommy Fury is clearly being the busier of the two.
You got to be busy. When you're in the ring with someone who doesn't have experience, you throw a whole lot at them, you know? And when you have opportunities, you throw the whole kitchen sink at them. Right here, this is where Tommy wins. You're leading with the jab, backing Jake up, and not allowing Jake to set up that right hand and come off of his back foot with a big punch.
So much for that prediction from both men stating the fight will not enter the fifth. We are now into that round.
Hey, you know, let's keep it real. Both these guys doing what they got to do. And this is a 50-50 fight. When you have a 50-50 fight, no, it doesn't go. It goes more than 5 rounds, more than 4 rounds. Because it's 50-50. Both of these guys are trying to set things up and land the big shot.
I don't disagree with what you're saying, but we need to see a separation. And that's what we may be seeing now. We need to see a separation between these guys. What's going to separate them from being 50-50? That's where it starts right now.
Jake Paul threw an overhand right. Tommy was out of the way, and then he clocked Jake Paul with the right of his own.
This is a really good boxing match. I mean, they're trading jabs. They're trading big shots. I like the pace of Tommy.
Hector Afu has deducted 1 point from Jake Paul.
From both of them. He getting it from both of them. No?
It was only to Jake Paul. To my knowledge, he just deducted a point from Jake Paul, not Tommy Fury, because he would have to go to the judges with both men. He only did it with Jake Paul. Left hook, that's set. That wobbled Tommy Fury. Fury might be hurt.
That overhand right. That overhand right still finds a home. Even late, they made no adjustments to that.
But Jake Paul still can't afford to get overzealous. These moments where, you know, especially you have points taken, you land a big shot, still take your time because Tommy Fury can eat your shots and he can deliver some of his own.
Under a minute left here in the fifth. The deduction of a point. What does that do to the mental psyche of Jake Paul?
It's not fair, in my personal opinion. I don't believe it's fair. I don't think either fighter is fighting dirty. But what that does to Jake Paul is it makes him feel like he's got to rush. If anything, you can close in and make this a 9-9 round now.
I agree with you, Sean. I don't think it's fair either. Both guys were throwing punches at that time. I feel
Big
like
right hand
to give that point away in this close fight.
That's a big right hand, right on the button.
That'll end the 5th round. 3 more rounds to go. Jake Paul deducted a point.